This is the beginning of Engineer Pass. When I listened to what I was saying on this video, at this moment I was saying, well, this is turning into real off-roading, which was about right. You can see as you make this left here, it's pretty tight and it's some real rocks. Doesn't look like as much on the film, but when you're doing it, it feels like quite a bit. I'm always amazed by how many mines there are and how much mine tailing there is everywhere. Seems like every turn there's some kind of mine equipment or mine tailings. This turn coming up had some real rocks to it as well. Again, you can't get a full feel for it here, but you can see if you look closely, those are fairly big rocks. I don't know how people do this in regular cars, and many of them do. This was a funny section with washouts where, again, it was fairly difficult. As long as you could drive over the middle of it, it was fine, but every once in a while you had to crisscross this washed out area. And again, I was happy I had the big four-wheel drive. Here comes a guy who's going what it almost feels like is the wrong direction at that time of day. Coming out of that washed out area, there was a pretty big turn coming up here. I was following a couple of other Jeeps at this point, and you can see as we go at real speed here that this is pretty tricky for all of us as we go up and make this turn. While we speed through this area, just take a look at the scenery off to the left. I always feel lucky when we find these places to be able to pull over for other vehicles, but somehow it seems to always work. I have had to back up a few times, but in general, I've never had a real problem. Just keep looking at that beautiful scenery off to the left. You can see somebody stop there to take some pictures, and I occasionally stop to take some pictures too. They're just incredible. Here's a picture I stopped and took. This is becoming another one of those shelf roads where you just hope that you don't see somebody, and or if you do, you happen to be in one of those spots where you can pull over, because otherwise backing up is really tricky. Now we're starting to get to the top, so I'm going to just let this run for a while. And if you don't want to look at the shelf road and the Jeeps, just keep looking at that beautiful sky and mountains. We were lucky to find a pull-off here as a couple of folks came down. It's always great when you have the snow on one side and the cliff on the other. Beautiful sight. It's just incredible. I was actually happy to get rid of these two Jeeps in front of me. I could have gone out for the lookout spot, but I decided to take a chance and just keep going. I really didn't know where I was going. When you're on these paths, you're not really sure what's next, and you're often not sure if you're going exactly in the right direction. And here's this little shelf road. It reminded me a little bit of the top of Imogene Pass. You're just hoping that nobody will come along. And then, of course, inevitably, somebody does. This guy on the Razor was good, though, because he realized that he had just gotten past a spot where he could pull off to the side. So he backed up. Seems like I'm usually the person backing up in these high roads. Look at this scenery in front of us. It's just incredible. Frankly, the music was good too. I love my lithium station, and they were playing great songs through the entire trip. We'll go back to fast silence here. You can see as I crossed over that the weather was starting to break down, become a storm. When I had lunch about 10 minutes later, it was storming. Here we came to the lookout spot where we did stop. If you look closely in front of us, you can see that there's a couple of dog cages in that ATV right in front of us. Of course, in about 5 minutes, when they brought the dogs down, Charlie tried to pick a fight with the dogs. Some things never change. Here's a picture of Charlie in attack mode.